Hello, and welcome to Fusion Writing, where building character meets creating structure. This is our writing week, and boy, oh boy, do we have a great map session for you today, where we get down to the details of what we're going to do this week in writing. So without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Victoria. Victoria?
And hello, everyone. Welcome back. I'm glad you came back to join us. So, as we mentioned in the Compass session, we want to get into the actual work of turning your zero draft material into a work in progress. Sometimes crossing that bridge, especially as a newer writer, can be really scary because you don't really have a heading. You're not certain about how to get those first words onto the page and what that should look like. I'm going to come at it from three directions. From scene and plot, and then character. I'm going to save character for last because that's going to segue very nicely into the amazing thing that Kathleen is going to share with you. So let's start first with scene. All right, so usually I'm the one that has the big charts and the pictures, and Kathleen is the one with the note cards. But once again, we have flip-flopped a bit. So I have in my hand a few scene cards. My scene cards are based off of a plot diagram that I drew. I simply washi taped two note cards together, and starting in the middle, I started figuring out what needs to happen in my story. So let's just say that I'm writing a story about a woman. I've named her Jen for our purposes, and I know for a fact that I need three key scenes. I can see them in my head. I can kind of figure them out as far as the story goes. So how am I going to do that? Well, it's simple. You're going to identify the scene in your head, and you're going to decide for yourself, what's the goal of the scene? Is the goal to introduce another important character? Then that's all you're going to do. You're going to sit down with a note card or with that drafting info, you're doing it by keyboard, you're writing it out by hand, however you're working on your draft, and you're just going to sketch out that scene in, think of the old days, the 3 to 5 sentence paragraph. That's all you need. It doesn't have to be a lot of words. You just need to capture that idea so that you can go back to it and start to flesh it out. So maybe your goal of the scene is to introduce her mom, because her mom is going to play a part in story development later. So then you know that you need to introduce a scene that she has her first confrontation with an antagonist. So as you're thinking this through, you're thinking, okay, if she's going to meet up with her mom, I'm going to have meeting her mom come first, and it's going to be in the morning for coffee. So they meet at a cafe, they have a conversation. Maybe the sequel, the outcome of that conversation is they become closer. Okay, so you've laid that breadcrumb for your reader. It's in the morning, she leaves the cafe. For the next scene, what did I say? She's got to meet her antagonist. Scene 2 is she's going to go to work. And maybe that antagonist is someone that she clashes with at work. So that next scene is going to be the meeting at work where the two of them butt heads. And you're just going to sketch it out the same way. So you're just leaving yourself that trail of information so that you know who is having the action or the event, what they're doing, and what it means. What is the outcome or the sequel? And you're going to do this over and over and over throughout your story to drive that narrative forward. So the third one that I have created is you're going to need a scene where a problem is revealed. Maybe you're thinking it's going to involve a twist. This is an important concept because when you're writing your story, lean into the things that excite you. If it doesn't excite you, if it doesn't get you jazzed to start thinking about how am I going to do this, or what is it going to look like, or how is this going to play out, if you don't have that initial level of excitement about the scene or the idea, it's probably not going to work because you're not passionate about it. If you aren't passionate about your story and excited about telling it, your readers are going to know that. Haven't we all read stories where we were so excited because we could tell this author was loving the story? A great example of that are the Da Vinci Code books. You can tell he loved writing those books, putting in those clues, laying out the reveals, giving us the pieces of information, and then fitting them all together. It was great fun. And you could tell the whole way through that author was having a blast. So lean into the things that excite you. When you're putting your scenes together, include the kinds of activities that you love, hobbies that you love, things that you're fascinated with that you could read about all day long. Those are the kinds of things that you want to pack in there because trust me, it will resonate with your readers and they will have as much fun as you are. So that covers a little bit about packing in those scenes. So in the third scene suggestion, mine was a problem is revealed. So let's say she's met with her mom in the morning, she's had the work meeting where she's met the antagonist, and then you're thinking, somewhere around the middle of my story, a problem needs to be revealed that she's going to have to deal with. And then you start thinking about what could that be? Well, whatever that problem is, maybe she makes a discovery that brings her to the conclusion that she needs to gather some forces and start trusting some help. So that's your character shift that happens at the midpoint. So you're just going to sketch that out. You don't have to know all the details and have all the clues. You can go back and stick those in later. The important thing is to draft out that problem and remind yourself that there needs to be a discovery and she needs to have an attitude adjustment. And that's what's going to make her our hero going forward in the story. So that's how you start stacking up those scenes. The second component is the plot, which basically we've just laid out. So you see, as you start thinking about how your scenes fit together and they build your story, you're naturally building and revealing your plot. So you don't have to think of them as two separate items or activities. They're going to play off of each other in the way that you think about the order of events. It really is that simple. So lay out your scenes, think about how am I going to get this person from here to there, who needs to be involved and what are the events, and then maybe do your little plot map. This happens first, this happens next, and then a line over here because that needs to be involved. I need to reveal that, and that's going to lead to this. It's just mapping it out with simple lines and arrows. The third and final component is character. You know from my past modules that I have a character development tool, but wait until you see what Kathleen is going to share. You won't want to miss out on this. But I will leave you with the bare basics of character, develop that person in your mind, and then start developing their cards. You have to know who this person is, what motivates them, what are they afraid of, what are they passionate about, because those are the things that are going to help inform the decisions that they're making throughout the story that drive the sequence of events. So I'm going to leave the discussion of character there because Kathleen is going to give you another tool and another way in to start building out that character piece. But in the meantime, like I always say, don't wait. Get those words on the page because you're thinking about this story. You know what you want to happen or what you want to say or how you want to write it. Get it on the page because it won't stay in your head forever. And you need that head real estate for all of the little things that have to come in between to flesh out that narrative. So with that, I'm going to leave you and throw you over to Kathleen.
Okay, thank you very much, Victoria. All right. Well, as Victoria indicated, I have a special surprise for you, but I'm going to save it till just a little bit later because I want to start with where we left off with character, which was we were talking about the rudder traits. The last time we were talking about what is a character trait position, and we said the rudder traits are the traits where the character knows that they have a decision to make. They're thinking about the alternatives. It's what's going to steer their decision making. That's why we call it the rudder traits. And that's a very important, it's the most basic character trait position. We're going to learn some others, but this one drives the story. And we said what traits you're going to put at that position. The way to find them out is to listen for the struggles that your character has going on in their heads. That's why we start with the rudder trait because they're conscious of making that decision. And we talked about the different character traits that might go with what are they struggling with? How are you going to find out the trait that goes with that struggle? And as you'll recall, I showed you, and then I also posted over on LiLLiPub a set of charts that you can use to look up the character traits that you might be interested in. And all of those traits are outlined in detail in my book, Writing with Emotion. But you don't have to have it. You don't have to necessarily be there because we all have a sense or an idea of character traits just in our natural being. They're most effective when you really get down to the nitty-gritty details of all 28, but you can start with simple things like, is the character nice? Is the character diligent? And those things can stand in for starters. So don't delay writing your story because you haven't mastered all 28 character traits. However, now what you do want to do is really think seriously about the decision, because that is going to drive the story elements of where the story is going to go. Now, on the other hand, I did not create this, but Deb Hart created what I'm going to share with you, and she posted it over in LiLLiPub. So that means if you are a LiLLiPub member, you have access to this. She shared it with all us Lilligans, and you can be a Lilligan too. And this is an incredible worksheet. It is beyond belief magnificent. She has outlined here for us all of the character trait positions and how you determine where in the character trait wheel that character trait falls. And then how do you break it down from the basic to the more refined, all the way over to the individual character trait. She has done a masterful job. And what's more, this is a worksheet. It has a spot where you can put the character's name and make notes about your character on the bottom. So this is just a spectacular resource that Deb has shared with you. If you come on over to LiLLiPub, you will nail your character so quickly and easily following her path, where she has taken what I have written in this book and basically summarized it onto a single sheet as a worksheet. I'm blown away by it, and I'm so delighted that she has offered this to the community. So do come on over to LiLLiPub and join us. We also meet on Saturdays in our Zoom calls, where we have an opportunity to share our writing. We grow every week, and our call grows. And it's so exciting to see our writers developing into authors. And I hope to see you over there. Victoria, want to sum us up?
Absolutely. I'm so excited about this. I do want to add, though, this is something that most of you won't know. If you're following us and you're over in LiLLiPub, you'll know this. But for anyone else who happens to come across this, think about Deb's character tool also as a diagnostic. Something that we're doing over in LiLLiPub as kind of a side project is we're reading Erin Morgenstern's The Starless Sea, and we're also reading The Outsiders. I don't have my copy yet, it's just digital. But we're using the character traits as a way to identify who's doing what in the story and what their traits are. So if you think about this, and maybe an aspect of your own story has you stumped, or you're not sure about this character, or maybe you're just wondering about these character traits and how does this work? Deb's tool is a perfect way to take whatever story you're reading, look at it, and break out what those character traits look like for each character that you're reading. You can do it with any novel. So that's just a little additional way that if you're over there, and I encourage you to come and join us, it's extremely reasonable and we are super fun and friendly. But if you join us, check out how you can apply this tool as your own diagnostic as a reader, which, as I always say, if you're going to be a writer, you have to be a student of story. And this tool puts everything you need right at hand to become a student of story and start to understand, why do you love your favorite characters and how can those inform the characters that you're writing about? So come and join us. There's fun every single day and always something to learn, because we're all life learners and we would love to have you. So hopefully we'll see you over there.
Thank you so much, Victoria. Yes, the other book that we're reading is The Outsiders. So we've got 2 book clubs going, and we have a whole section for book clubs as we expand the ones that we're reading together. So this gives us an opportunity, another avenue for hanging out together on one of the friendliest social media sites you could ever imagine. No ads, nobody is out to scam or promote or anything. We're all just friendly, and I think you'd really enjoy being with us. So enjoy your writing week and do write. Post if you're on LiLLiPub, So enjoy your Thanksgiving dinner. Don't eat too much turkey, and we will see you either on Saturday for a very casual get together. Victoria will be tied up with company. I'll be leading a very simple chit chat kind of Zoom gathering this week. So come join us if you can. And otherwise, we'll see you next Monday. Bye bye.
Happy Thanksgiving.